everybody. Iceman50 here. So we're gonna get started working on this RGB clock kit again. I've been busy with a bunch of other projects, namely my son's 3D printer, so we've been working a lot on that. But I thought we'd get back to this, the RGB clock kit. Remember this? So we got our bag of parts and whatnot. We got our look at our circuit board out here, and we'll do it. I'll add some more pieces on here. We'll do some of the passive components. I don't know, either the resistors or capacitors or something. We'll see how far we get here today. Okay. We got our PCB. We'll put our screws back in our pieces of acrylic. So, I don't know if anybody's watching the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Watching that, I'm done with episode 2. I won't, I guess I won't spoil it. It's kind of hard. You know what? You've been warned. The show comes out Friday. It's now Monday. If you haven't watched it by now, I'm sorry. The second one, they're going a little bit more in depth about John Walker, who I thought they were who's going to be called U.S. Agent. I don't know. All I know is that I don't like him as Captain America. I don't think anybody else does either. He's nothing like Steve Rogers. He's not. Oh, it's kind of weird. You know, the guy's kind of cocky and weird. So I guess that's kind of the whole point. I don't know. So they're, you know, the dynamics with Bucky are pretty good. Pretty crazy. He'd say, you know, in trying to like befriend Sam and Bucky, you know, he kind of, apparently Bucky got into some trouble. He got arrested for basically probation violation. Not seeing his court-appointed therapist. Anyways, apparently he took care of that, I guess, John Walker, and basically had it dismissed, I guess, or something, and then thought they were all going to be really grateful to him. And you know, there was a scene where they were talking. It was towards the end, and you know, you could see this guy. He's getting kind of cocky. I don't know, and he's just like, "Stay out of my way." You know, he had the shield. I thought right then and there, Sam and Bucky should have just stole the shield back from him. I mean, Bucky's a super soldier. I'm not, you know, this guy definitely can't compete. I don't know what he's thinking, but, you know, and I don't know what it means, you know, his strength and all that are off the charts. I don't know what they're trying to say there, but, you know, is he a super soldier? No, not as far as I understand. They did introduce the, I'm just going to call him the Black Captain America. It's the old soldier from the end. Apparently, you know, he was just like Cap, but black, I guess. I don't know. And that wasn't cool. I have no idea. Anyways, this is a pretty interesting storyline they're gonna, I guess, follow through with here a little bit. So you guys should watch it. It's definitely a lot more action than WandaVision. I don't know. I'm gonna watch them all because you know what they're doing. They're tying all this in. All the movies and TV shows are gonna be tied in. It's like a whole. They came up with this idea. I have to say it's brilliant. You know, you're getting, you know, 4 to 6 hours of content about different characters, which is kind of cool. So they finally figured out how to do that. I think it'll make it more interesting in time. Okay. Well, you know, there's only so many components. We got the RGB LEDs. We got some. That's what these couple of pages are, and we're gonna do those. We're gonna do those Now the question is, do we do them now or do we do them last? I know I would probably say do them now. That way when you flip it over, you know, all the parts have somewhere to go. If that's the case, then we can do the transistors and the resistors on this side. So why don't we do that? Talks about, I guess, welding transistor. You mean soldering? Sure. So looks like there's 6 of them, and it says 2 Ti. Hang on a second, let me get my goggles, my X-ray specs. So, anyways, yeah. So you guys should check that out if you like Marvel stuff. It's pretty good. All right. So first we got to find the transistors. So let's this side. Okay. Turn on our soldering irons. I'll just set these up here. So, and that's Q1 through Q6. It says right up here, Q1 through Q6, which when I looked at this board before, it was pretty well labeled and everything. Oh yeah, it tells you. See? That says R39 and Q6, and you can see Q5, Q4, 3, blah, 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 blah. So, I'm pretty sure these are the transistors in the package. This is what they call cut tape. This is how they come, like when you order from like DigiKey or whatever. So, yeah, what I normally do on these is, whenever I do transistors, I always, you always want to tack one place first. So I always, if you can see where I always tack like the 1 pin, and then I'll come around and tack the 2 pins. And the same thing with the resistor. I tack one, put solder on one side, then tack it down, and then hit solder on the other side and move on. So that's what we'll do. We'll look at one of these transistors. See if we can figure out. It should say 2T1 on it. These are pretty small. I mean, yeah, it says 2T1 on top of the transistor. So, okay. Oh, man. So that's why you gotta be careful. I already dropped it. I mean, it's right here on the bench, thank God. So, let's set our parts aside. And then, zoom in here. Give you some good zoom. Whoa, that's a lot of zoom. I guess if I'm not moving it. Okay, forget it. That's how, we're gonna give you a 2x zoom. I guess that's the optical zoom of my iPhone. I want to get too cray. All right. So let's solder this on like so, and then you pick this up. There we go. Turn it around so the pin is facing the way you want. So, and then pick it up from the sides. See, you can pick it up. Can you see it? I guess you can't see it. There we go. Okay. So let's drop this on here. So what I do is I heat it up and slide it on. And I try to make it nice and presentable. That's what I do with all my stuff, It takes time. I mean, you can throw them down there and, maybe all crooked and stuff, and for the most part they'll line up, but, if you just take your time, you'll get some nice results. Let's see. One, boom, and boom. Done and done. Okay. So what I'll probably do is just do this on a time lapse, and you can see me putting on some of these parts, and then yeah, we'll bring you back when I'm done. Sound good? All right, let's get the rest of these on. Alright, so the transistors are on. Now let's move over to the resistors. R34 through R39, which should be these. R34 through R39, which are the resistors with these transistors. And those are 472 or 4.7K. That's 47 and 2 zeros, so 4700, which is 4.7K. But on little things like this, on these teeny parts, they only give you the number representation. They don't say 4.7K, it'll say 472, right? So we gotta look until we find, what are the odds? I pull these parts, usually they're in this, again, cut tape for resistors and stuff, which is usually like this paper. I pulled the right one, 472. What are the odds? I mean, not bad, but let's get these tacked down here. Let's start by adding some solder to one side, like so. Okay. Then we're gonna pull out. We're gonna need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. Okay. When you do this, try to do it, you know, if you got a mat, or I have a magnetic mat that I use for RC car stuff, and that works pretty good because, you know, these pins are metal on here, and so they will stick. They're less likely to bounce all over the place or whatever. So let's see. You gotta be careful when you're pulling this film off, because it'll bounce and they'll shoot away. That's why I always order extra whenever I do a project. I mean, obviously this came with, like, the transistors in this one, it came with 8. It looks like there's 2 extra in there down at the bottom. Don't know if I need them, if they gave me exactly what I need, or if you know, they gave me spares. I'm guessing they probably didn't give me spares, but you never know. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6. And that leaves me with 1. You can see it here. It leaves me with 1. So, you know, another thing that I do, where's my Sharpie marker? I showed you this before on some other stuff, so what we can do here is we'll cut this little string off here, so that it doesn't get yanked on. Okay, and then we're gonna write 472, right? Like that. So we know that those are the 4.7K, and then we can, you know, throw that back in the bag. And these transistors, you know, there's only these transistors, so that's good. Okay. I always label your parts so it's easier to find later, right? Let's see. So we get our resistor here. lined up. And then heat up the solder, slide it into place, making sure that you have enough room on the other side of the resistor for the connection over there. And then you just keep going. So that's what I'm gonna do, is I'm just gonna go along here and we'll do another fast forward and you can see me put these on. All right. Alright, so now the resistors are soldered right here, and there's the transistor. Okay. See, this goes pretty quick. This kit actually doesn't really have a lot. What's going to take a long time is all these RGB LEDs. The rest of the stuff is going to move along pretty quick. Alright, what does it say next? The LED resistor and transistor are welded as below. Okay, we're not, I guess, oh, this can be so annoying. I guess we're gonna do the LEDs. We'll just start working on those. So what you're gonna notice is that there's a dot. Okay, see the little dot? And then if you look close on the picture here, there's a notch in the chip. That's pin 1. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So you line up the notch with the position of closest to the dot, and that should be pin 1. So let's just go ahead and start doing these. That way we can flip the whole thing over and work on the other side when we're done. All right, so get some of those out. Like I said, this is going to take the longest because there's so many of them. Okay. So let's just in for case, let's clean up our other parts here. Don't have to quite worry about those yet. Okay. Let's zoom out here a little bit. Okay. All right. Okay. Wrap this up thusly, and then what we're gonna do is I'll just start by putting a dot on each number 1. I'll put a dot. I'll put some solder on pin 1 of each one of these where the dot is, and then we'll line it up that way, and then we'll just tack them on, and then we'll come back and do all the rest of the pins. Usually for stuff like this, we'll tack the one side, and then as long as it doesn't move around, we should be fine. If I don't like it, then I'll flip it around and tack the opposite corner, pin 4, and then we'll move along. But I think we're going to be able to get away with just doing one pin. So let's find her. There we go. Just kind of peel this back, drop some of these out, and like I said, you can see. I'll zoom in here. Focus. Okay. It's not focusing. There you go. There's pin 1 in the corner. Alright, so we'll move this back down and we'll get started. We'll do a time lapse again and bring you back. stop the speed here for a second, just so you can see. When you put the solder on there, these pins wrap underneath the part. You can see it, they wrap underneath of there. And so what you do is you heat, just like all the rest, you heat it up and then you slide the part in and then move on to the next one. And that's what we're gonna keep doing. All right, back to the time lapse. All right, everybody, so you can see that we're already done with one row. I tacked them and then flipped them and then tacked them and then flipped them, and that's it. So all we got to do that is we just got to do that. Let's see, there's 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. So I'm going to do that 23 more times. So all right, well, we'll bring it back when I got all this done. I don't think you really want to see me just soldering LEDs for 30 minutes. So we'll bring you back when this is all done. All right, we'll see you guys in a minute. Everybody, one thing you should be particularly aware of is, you know, I might actually start going this way. When you do it this way, you know, you got the next one next to it. If you can already see, I hit it with the soldering iron just on the outside of the case and put a little, you know, melted the plastic. Luckily, you know, you got to be careful, but, you know, doing it this way, the soldering iron, you can see is, you know, you come in here to do this, and if you tip it over, it's easy to get it stuck in there. So, like I said, what I'll do is I'll finish these off, but I think what I'll do is I'm probably gonna, I don't know, we may, you know, start over here and work this way. So we'll solder all this side, then we'll solder this side, and then we'll keep moving this way. We just got to try to make it simple for ourselves, and that, you know, to avoid messing these up, because you can forget. It's, you know, you're sitting there with the soldering iron, you're concentrating on doing it, and then next thing you know, you melted it. So we're gonna stand it way up, stand the soldering iron way up. guess if I just want to do it like this, I can, but you know, it is definitely easier the other way, right? Guys, no matter how you slice it, we do these and we put these on, then we're still gonna have to be close, so it doesn't really matter. You can go from whichever way you want. You're just gonna have to be careful about watching the iron while you're soldering some of these pins in here. So that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna be careful, and we're gonna watch the angle of our soldering iron when we solder these when we solder the other pins on.